iPhone 14 on us.
Not to brag, but I'm on Verizon now. And I got to choose the phone I wanted for free.
Not that you're bragging.
Choose the phone you want on us. Verizon.
Here in the Midlands of South Carolina, the Gamecocks are walking into the 2023 campaign with an awful lot of optimism. Third year for head coach Shane Beamer, and there has been a lot of growth and a lot of success in his first 2 years in Columbia. Tonight, it is the annual Garnet and Black game as the spring practice season comes to a close. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Williams-Brice Stadium here in Columbia, South Carolina. Chris Carlin alongside Roman Harper. I say alongside. Very kind of a cool perspective tonight for Roman, who will be down on the field tonight as our color commentator, really giving us a view that you don't often get in this spring game. And Roman, spring game always an opportunity for younger players to state their case and for the older guys to continue to refine their craft.
Well, Chris, number one, the most important goal is to get out of this game healthy at the end of the night. And yes, you want to see your older guys fly around, really make a couple plays early and get off to the side. And for the younger guys, now is time to really show what we learned in the classroom and be able to take that knowledge and put it out there and showcase it in front of all these fans on the field tonight. Second year for quarterback Spencer Rattler here at South Carolina after he transferred from Oklahoma. In his first year in 2022, 18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a little up and down, but boy, he was special late in the year. Yeah, and late in the year, it really showed because of his fast decision making, and that allowed him to make more plays with his arm, but also with his feet. We know how great he is throwing the ball, but that is what allowed him to do all those other things. And also, the ball placement really showed up, and the velocity really jumped out on tape. That was what Spencer Rattler does best. Meanwhile, to be his backup, there is a battle brewing between a guy who's been here for a while in Luke Doty and Lenora Sellers, a true freshman, the number 8 dual threat quarterback in the country, 4 stars according to ESPN. Yes, and this is a great night for both of these guys because both of them are playing on the Garnet team. And so you will see Luke Doty, who's an athletic quarterback and has his progression really grown in the passing game. And with Lenora Sellers, he's a young guy that everybody's in love with when you ask around this program. He's a hometown guy from South Carolina. He put up big numbers in high school, and we want to see that transition over tonight and really showcase himself in front of this crowd. Always get a great opportunity to find out a lot about your football team in the spring, and also find out about the new faces who have joined you. We'll meet them in just moments. It's the annual Garnet and Black game next.
iPhone 14 Pro?
Unbelievable camera. Switch to T-Mobile and get one on them. Do you have T-Mobile?
Well...
And you get Apple TV Plus included. Got that?
Well...
I love Ted Lasso. T-Mobile also gives you MLS Season Pass. Do you get all that?
Well...
Join T-Mobile and get the powerful iPhone 14 Pro with Apple TV Plus and MLS Season Pass on the Apple TV app. All on us.
Gorgeous night in Columbia, South Carolina at Williams-Brice Stadium for the annual Garnet and Black game. Spring game that closes out spring practice, and the two words that have become so important in college football over the last 5 years, the transfer portal, Roman. And boy, they have been able to add some real talent here for South Carolina for the coming year with the portal, and they have especially done it at the tight end position with both Trey Knox and Joshua Simon. Well, you know, Shane Beamer said he wanted to be tight end U a few years ago, and he is doing that right now. Trey Knox is a special talent. You saw him really put up big numbers and produce in one-on-one situations last year versus Arkansas.
He comes over from there, and I'm looking forward to him really being a target in the red zone specifically, knowing his size and ability on the outside to win on one-on-one situations. And Joshua Simon, another guy that's played a lot of football in college, and we know from what the coaches are telling us, he looks like an NFL tight end immediately off the bus. And sometimes you need those big guys. He'll be another threat in the red zone. I can't wait to see what Carolina does in all two tight end packages going forward, especially being able to spread guys and attack them down the middle of the field.
Knox coming over from Arkansas with his new offensive coordinator, Dowell Loggins. Simon from Western Kentucky. They are coming out of the locker room, getting ready to go. We hear from the head coach, Shane Beamer. He joins Roman Harper next.
If your internet comes from T-Mobile, you should know it's just phone internet, not home internet. Cox Internet is faster and has more reliable download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet. Cox keeps you up to speed, especially during peak hours when you need it most. So don't get phone internet, get real home internet from Cox.
Remix your routine. Make it a Hidden Valley Ranch night.
Gamecocks coming out of the tunnel, getting ready for the Garnet and Black game, the annual spring football game to close out the 15 practices throughout the spring. So much accomplished for a football team during this time. To see the rewards of all of the strength and conditioning of the offseason and to see how you have grown on the field. It's opportunities for younger players to state their case for more playing time. It's refining your craft, as we mentioned earlier, for the older players as well. Let's send it downstairs. Roman Harper standing by with the head coach, Shane Beamer.
Coach Beamer, we're sitting here. This is my first time under the lights here. What can me and the rest of these fans expect tonight?
One, we're out in the stadium with the best fans in America. You see that with the energy in here right now. I'm just excited to watch our guys compete. That's one thing about this team is they compete. We got some really good young players, and the competitive juices are flowing. Should be a lot of fun.
All right, Coach, we know we got the Garnet team and the Black team. At the end of the night, what will be the end result that will satisfy Coach Beamer tonight?
Clean football, coming out of it healthy like every coach says, but clean, look like a well-coached team, you know. But I just told them in the locker room that we look like what our standard is, playing physical, competing our butts off. That's what I want to see.
Well, Coach, good luck tonight, man. Thank you so much for having us. Can't wait.
Appreciate it.
Back to you.
We're looking forward to it. He is an energetic guy. We got a chance to visit with Shane Beamer and his offensive and defensive coordinators yesterday. They bring a lot of energy into the room and a lot of excitement about where their program is headed. As far as the format for the game tonight, a little bit different than the usual college football game. In the first half, we'll have 12-minute quarters. Second half, 10-minute quarters. The quarterbacks are live. They can be hit with the exception of Spencer Rattler and Luke Doty. Those are 1 and 2 on the depth chart. They'll be wearing green jerseys, and there are no kickoffs tonight or live punts. They will have some punts through the course of the game, but they will not be live in terms of returning. So we'll get our first look here at Spencer Rattler and the offense for South Carolina, as Rattler plays for the Black team, and they get the football first at the 25-yard line to begin tonight. Rattler, the fifth-year senior from Phoenix, Arizona. Last season threw for 3,000 yards, 66% completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. And he'll take a deep shot on first down, but just overshot the intended receiver down the left sideline. Another transfer in Eddie Lewis, a graduate student from Harlem, New York, and a transfer from Memphis and previous to that at Rutgers. Well, Roman, this is one of those opportunities for Rattler to continue to grow and to continue to work toward becoming a better quarterback. When we talked to Shane Beamer yesterday, it was the feeling of, hey, he could have turned pro this year, but he opted to come back instead and get a better feel for the things that he needs to work on. And Dowell Loggins, the offensive coordinator, brand new to this team, he can come in and help that. And Rattler, he has been incredibly effective before in his career.
Well, Chris, the biggest thing that I see, you want to get him feeling good about himself early. That's why they take a shot on first down, and they're going to continue to throw the ball. When Spencer Rattler's in, I expect a lot of big shots down the field because they want to see him just cut it loose in front of the crowd.
You know, Roman, when we were talking to Coach Beamer yesterday about Spencer, one of the things that really stood out is he connects for a big play to Juice Wells. Big-time receiver for Carolina, first-team All-SEC. Last year had 928 yards receiving. Beat O'Donnell Fortune on the play, but he comes out right out of the gate, picks up where he left off, a 55-yard gain, Roman.
That was big, and that's a lot of what Coach Logans was talking about, was that it doesn't matter about the pressure around Spencer Rattler. Sit in the pocket tonight and cut it loose. And that was a throw right there under pressure that was right on point. That's what you want to see out of this quarterback.
Now he connects to the outside to Omarion Brown. Last year, 23 catches, fifth-year senior from Tampa, Florida for 4 years. But when we were talking to Coach Beamer about Spencer, it felt like early last year was a little too afraid to make a mistake. And he just told him, hey, cut it loose. Go make your plays. I'm not benching you. You're our guy. And that had to go a long way for his confidence.
Well, it has to. When you're not looking over your shoulder, it's so much freeing to play the position. And that is what I saw, the problems that arose when he was at Oklahoma. He was always looking behind him, and now he's not worried about that. And you're going to see the best version of Spencer Rattler because of that.
Dakarian Joyner, a 9-yard carry. He is a 6-year senior who has worked at quarterback, wide receiver, and now this spring working at running back. Had 12 carries last year, lined up in different formations, but they're working him primarily out of need right now at the running back position as the Black drives deep into Garnet territory with a 1st and goal coming up, and Joyner remains in the backfield. Here's Rattler lofting it left and incomplete. Intended for Juice Wells in the near corner. It's got to be, Roman, so confidence building for Rattler as well to have a guy like Wells back, who caught 68 balls last year and 6 touchdowns. Big play guy, and he's another one that could have declared to go to the league this year, and he didn't.
Yeah, he put up big numbers, and he's been that type of player since he arrived in college at James Madison. I'm looking for Trey Knox to really separate in the red zone right here. He's way bigger than anybody else covering him. That is a target that you must take advantage of. There it is.
He is lined up in the slot, and Knox is down near the goal line, just shy at the 1-yard line. Brought down by Grayson Howard, the true freshman linebacker from Jacksonville. They're going to go up tempo right here on 3rd and goal. Rattler keeps it himself, and they're going to rule him down in the backfield. Rattler's upset. He can't believe it. He's like, I would have broken that tackle.
Coach Beamer's blowing it dead. I think everybody on the sideline is mad about that one.
Hey, when it comes to blowing him dead in the spring game, you don't screw around. He tagged him. He got a hand on him. It's a little flag football with Shane Beamer laughing about it. Meanwhile, 4th and goal coming up here for the Black team after that loss of a yard. And Shane Rattler and company will go for it. Rattler guns over the middle, and he's got the big tight end for the touchdown in Trey Knox, the transfer from Arkansas. DQ Smith didn't have a chance there, Roman.
Well, Chris, that's what you want out of a tight end. He's be able to separate and then all of a sudden take a hit in the end zone like that to get you quarterback 6. That is why you got these guys that size, and that is why you go out there and get a guy like Trey Knox out of the portal.
Alex Herrera will come on for the Black to kick the point after. Trey Knox, a career high 90 yards on 6 catches for Arkansas last year, or a couple of years ago against Colorado State. As the extra point is up, and it is good. The Black has taken the early lead, 7-0, for the virtue of one of those new faces we talked about, Trey Knox, the transfer from Arkansas. A 9-play, 75-yard drive that gives the early 7-0 lead for the black team. Spencer Rattler connecting with the tight end Trey Knox, and the new offensive coordinator for the Gamecocks, Dowell Loggins, comes over from Arkansas, where he was the tight ends coach the last couple of years. Prior to that, spent 17 years in the NFL. And, you know, it's always tricky, Roman, when you're talking about an offensive coordinator coming in and having a quarterback playing with a third different offensive coordinator in 3 years. First when he was at Oklahoma, and now the next 2 years where he's had 2 different coordinators here. That's always a challenge for a quarterback. So for Spencer Rattler in this situation, how does he navigate that?
Well, the biggest thing is, you know, Coach Loggins, was that it's going to be same as. So as much as I can learn from the former system to take thinking and learning off of my new guys, that's what I'm going to do. He admitted that. He has done that. So a lot of the same concepts are still the same names. Now, what he's been able to bring in is a lot more spacing and the ability to be able to attack the hash marks. You just saw that last play where we're doing a quick play to the flat to Joshua Simon, just because we want to take advantage of the hash marks. And that's the biggest difference that Loggins said he has learned by being in the college atmosphere and coming from the NFL where the hash marks are a lot tighter.
Mario Anderson, transfer from Division II Newberry, on the carry. And for Loggins, developing that relationship with Rattler is incredibly important. But I like the way that Loggins told us yesterday about the direct communication they have in developing trust, and that you can be honest, you can be truthful with each other because you know where it's coming from, trying to get the collective unit better.
Well, the best players always want to be coached up the hardest. That's the biggest thing. And so when you know you have a great player like Spencer Rattler, he wants the best coach. He wants to be told the truth. And so when you build that relationship, you know your brother's not going to lie to you. And so when you're honest with each other, you get the best out of each other. And that's what I'm hoping to see today. And that is also what Coach Loggins spoke to me about before the game, was that he told Spencer, look, Spencer, you're not going to get hit tonight. The pocket's going to be as clean as it's going to be all year. So stand in there and deliver the football and showcase that arm. And we saw it on the first drive. He's getting fired up, getting his guys going now on the sideline. They're about to go out there and try and make it happen again.
You know, the other thing to keep in mind about it is that when Shane Beamer was trying to figure out who he wanted to hire as an offensive coordinator, you have to think of the long term, yes, but you think in the short term, and who is going to benefit who is going to benefit Spencer Rattler the most in the short term. And Dowell Loggins is a guy that a lot of guys here from South Carolina, Alshon Jeffrey, so much success in the NFL as a receiver. Connor Shaw as well spoke so highly of him, and that helps build that relationship between Rattler and Loggins, because Rattler knows that Loggins is trying to help him get to the next level too.
Yeah, and look, this is a relationship game, guys. And so when you know that this coordinator has worked with rookie quarterbacks, he's worked with veteran quarterbacks, he understands that position. That is the room that he's been in for 16, 17 plus years. It only makes it so much more of an easier marriage going forward, that he's been through the wars, and he's going to be able to teach and understand and give him examples for Spencer Rattler that he's never seen before, but he's going to trust it immediately because of the resume.
Amarian Brown with a catch, picked up 4 yards on the Blacks' second offensive series of the night. And it's Juju McDowell on the carry, leading rusher returning for South Carolina. 219 yards on 62 carries last season, taken down for a 1-yard loss. You know, the other part of it too is the familiarity with the offense, and I thought it was interesting that Dowell Loggins told us, hey, I don't need to change terminology for 25 guys. I could learn what their terminology is, and then they have less to try to ingest and then navigate. Makes the job a whole lot easier for the team overall. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be my terminology. It can be theirs.
It's a whole lot easier for one person to learn 30 pages instead of 45, guys. That's just numbers and math, and that's what Dowell Loggins said he was going to do. And I just love that when you ask him about Spencer Rattler, the first thing he says is, this guy, his thirst for knowledge, you couldn't be more impressed with. So Spencer understands he's trying to get better as well, because he has these lofty goals. Just 2 years ago, he was projected to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So We know he's got talent. That is not the question. It's going to be all about producing and doing and showing those abilities on the field.
You know, Roman, you look at the first 10 games for Spencer Rattler last year compared to what happened over the last 3, and it really all started with that win over Tennessee. Those last 3 games, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and averaged nearly 350 yards a game. Something clicked for him late.
Yeah, it was the fact that he wasn't slow in his decisions. The decision-making process was sped up. They didn't try and get as many guys out in the route. He stayed consistent in stepping up in the pocket. And then all of a sudden, his ability really started to shine. The ability meter on this guy, Spencer Rattler, is off the chain. He can throw it all over the place. His ball placement is immaculate. It's just all about getting him to do it consistently, play after play after play, and especially when pressure starts to fold. You got to trust that offensive line, and that's a big thing that Coach Beamer and these guys want to really hone in on tonight, was making sure the O-line's steady and making sure our defensive line is better against the run.
You just saw offensive lineman Jalen Nichols, 5th-year senior from Charlotte, North Carolina, limp off. It's one of the big things that you're always concerned about in the spring game, and he had to be helped off the field. Hopefully, not a big concern there. Back in 2021, started 7 games at left tackle and played in 12 games, but a guy that figures large into their offensive line plans for the coming year. Mario Anderson in the backfield behind Luke Doty for the Garnet. They went 3 and out on their first series, and here's a quick throw to the outside, connecting to Landon Sampson, a freshman from Southlake, Texas, making the reception and picking up 5. When you're a guy like Luke Doty and you come into this game, Roman, and you're trying to state your case and continue to show what you can do, this kind of game and situation becomes so much more important because those opportunities are so few and far between, right?
Yes, it is. You got to be able to showcase in front of a crowd. You don't ever get these reps during the season, so you better take advantage of them during spring and also in front of a crowd. And you know Sellers is looking right over your shoulder, and that is the people that you're reading about in the newspaper. You're not hearing about Luke Doty in the newspaper. They're talking about the young freshman coming in. So also the self-doubt will creep in unless you come out here tonight and showcase your talent, throw 2 or 3 touchdowns, then you feel good about yourself again.
Doty appeared in 5 games last year backing up Spencer Rattler, and 2 years ago made 4 starts here for South Carolina, where he threw 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Redshirt junior from Myrtle Beach. Chance to throw right here and taking a deep shot down the left side and overshot the intended receiver. That was Xavier Leggett, senior from Mullins, South Carolina, had 18 catches last year and 3 touchdowns. He's a big play threat.
He's a big play threat on special teams as well. And right there, you just get, that was a good ball, because if he doesn't catch it, nobody catches it. That's an okay throw. And it's, yeah, throw it up on 3rd down, see if you can make a play. Give your wide receiver a chance. That's all coach is going to say.
William Joyce, one of the backup punters, getting a chance to boot it away. As we said, the punts tonight not live. As you can see, it's just the punter and the returner as Amarian Brown fielded it. So the Black with a 7-0 lead over the Garnet late here in the first quarter. Spencer Rattler back on the field next.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $2,250 total cash allowance on a 2023 Silverado with a turbo high output engine. See your Super Chevy dealers today.
Kids are so expensive, Dad. Now Katie needs braces.
Maybe try switching your car insurance to Progressive. You could save hundreds.
I don't know, Dad.
Maybe try switching your car insurance to Progressive. You could save hundreds.
It's a great idea, TV Dad.
But I said the exact same thing.
Someday when you're a father, you'll understand.
I'm his father.
It's not a competition.
Listen to your TV Dad. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $700 on average.
Well, the NFL draft is just about 10 days away, and for the spring game here in South Carolina, Shane Beamer decided to put together a draft of his own for teams on each side, the Garnet and the Black. to draft players.
We got it? Everybody's in agreement? Yep. Hey, man. Hey, you ready to be the #1 pick, baby?
Let's go, Team Black, baby. Spencer Rattler, Nick Gargiulo, Vershawn Lee, Stone Blanton.
Biggest moment of my life right here, man.
First round pick, mama.
That's pretty cool. The way you can do that and make it feel like it's a real draft night, and on the phone you're ready to be the first overall pick, that is very cool. So we see Spencer Rattler unable to connect with Dakereon Joyner. You really get the impression that Shane Beamer does everything he can here, Roman, to add a levity and life to every situation he can.
Well, there's not too many coaches that are better than him on Twitter. I follow him. He's very entertaining. He's got something for you every day. Not only that, but he's a family man. He's introducing it all, and he really showcases this program. And you can't sell it better than the man at top, and that's how he is. He lives it.
He, of course, is the son of the legendary head coach at Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer. He is in attendance tonight as Dakereon Joyner picks an opportunity to lose 2 yards. I don't think he picked it, just got it. Just got knocked down on the outside for the loss. Brian Thomas Jr. making the stop. Son of former Gamecock and New York Jet Brian Thomas, defensive lineman. And Joyner, as we said earlier, a guy that has played quarterback, he has played wide receiver, and now he is playing running back. And Joyner has been talking about how much he has been studying the tape of guys like Alvin Kamara and Bijan Robinson, as the Garnet thinks they have a pick six, but they don't. They're calling it a sack, and Stone Blanton is going to get credit for the sack. Guys, you can celebrate all you want. It's coming back.
Hey, don't you take that from the DBs. This is what we want. Don't you take that from us.
Hey, I didn't take it from you. I didn't take it from you. Shane Beamer did. Landon Greer was trying to campaign for his pick six. Unfortunately, he did not win that battle as they punted away once again. But just talking about a guy who is to make that transition, as we were talking about with Dakereon Joyner, he's been asked to do a lot of different things as a super senior here. Played 13 games last year, you know, and the season had just 8 catches, but he is somebody, as we said, studying Alvin Kamara, studying Bijan Robinson from Texas, who's expected to be a first-round pick next week, trying to get a feel for how to handle the running back position.
Well, you saw it on the last carry. It's, you know, you want him to stay inside right there, press the hole, be patient, and then hit it downhill. You don't really want it to bounce because it is an edge defender already waiting on you right there. That is a cat and mouse game that veteran running backs are used to playing versus Dakereon Joyner. He's new to the position. He's a great ball handler, but he's not used to carrying it and trying to get in the hole, and that's just different. You got to see it differently.
We see Joshua Simon, the other transfer tight end from Western Kentucky, making the catch, his second of the night. That went for 9 yards. And these two tight ends, you know, you said it earlier, they look like NFL tight ends between Trey Knox and Joshua Simon.
Obviously, we got the game plan. They're going to try and feature these tight ends tonight, and I love it. The more you can use them, the more of a threat it is, and it gives you more and more one-on-one opportunities outside versus with the wide receivers.
You know, when you're a tight end and you as a defensive back, we're always charged with covering those guys downfield. What are the things that they do, these guys in particular, from what you see, that make things difficult on a secondary?
Well, the biggest thing is they're bigger than you. So it's like playing basketball with your older brother. He gets every rebound. Anytime it's a jump ball, you really got to fight for your life. And when you try and hit him, you got to know where you got to hit him at. You can't hit him high because he's going to run you over. You can't go too low because they like to jump over you like Jimmy Graham. So these tight ends are evolving. They're no longer just guys that block. They are athletic. They're guys that get out in the perimeter, and they can threaten you vertically as well.
Incomplete from Doty that time, intended for another tight end, and Nick Elksness. Well, Trey Knox is a guy that in his career at Arkansas had 81 catches and nearly 900 yards, 9 touchdowns in 29 starts and 45 games played. This guy's played a lot of football, and coming over for Dow Loggins in particular, That's got to feel like a nice safety blanket to have a guy that you coached at that position join you on this offense this year. It really helps almost be a translator for the rest of the offense.
Well, not only that, but he's going to talk to guys in the locker room, in the classroom. He already understands and speaks the language. He trusts Coach, and he's going to kind of confirm validity with some of the things that Coach Loggins is talking about. Trey Knox is going to say, yeah, guys, that I believe that. I've seen it, and it's going to work on Saturday. And that's all you take sometimes. You get a veteran guy who's big, who's a playmaker for your team, and everybody's counting on. He says it, and when he speaks, it speaks volume. And that's what I expect out of this offense going forward. I want to see more explosive plays from the tight end position.
Under a minute left in the opening quarter, and we've got whistles prior to the snap and a timeout taken by the Black. It's funny, Dal Loggins walked into our production meeting yesterday with him, Roman, and he almost made a beeline for you for all the times that he had played against you or coached against you in the NFL. And boy, he had him chapter and verse.
It's crazy because you just don't know what paths you cross during your career. And I had some really great games against him. And yes, when I was in New Orleans, I was part of the whole game plan. And most offenses tried to go away from me or base their game plans on what I was doing because of my position I played. And, I had a pretty good game against him, and we won. So it always feels good when you beat the coach you're talking to. So, I'm not trying to brag, but I felt good.
It kind of was. You kind of slid it in there. It's okay. It's okay. Because I guarantee if he had beaten you, you would have heard about it.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about that.
Bradley Dunn, who's gotten some run at tailback on this series, remains in there for the Garnet. As Doty steps up, they're going to rule him down in the pocket for a sack. It was Andrew Colasurdo, redshirt sophomore from Inman, South Carolina, and Chapman High School, a walk-on, who's credited with the sack.
Anytime we can give a shout-out to the walk-on, let's give some love, because they give more to the university than most players, and they're committed more than anybody else as well.
So many times you get to see those great videos that are put out by schools for some of the walk-ons that have earned scholarships, that have played their way into it, and we've seen walk-ons go into the NFL and have successful careers. Well, the other part of what South Carolina has is 37 lettermen returning on this team. They've got guys coming back on offense. They've got Juice Wells and DeCarrion Joyner and Amarian Brown at receiver. We talked about the tight ends with Spencer Rattler, but that's going to help on offense. On defense, they've got a lot to replace as well. They've got two starting corners who are going to be drafted pretty high next week in the NFL that they have to replace, as well as some edge rushers. So there are guys coming back, but there are some holes to fill too.
Well, the big thing about it is you heard Coach White talk about it. He said, we are going to fly around and cause turnovers. That is what this defense is known for, and that is what they like to do. It doesn't matter who's in that jersey.
Well, we will talk more about that. Causing turnovers, something that the Gamecocks have done exceptionally well over the last couple of years.
Dion, hand it over. Now, how does that make you feel?
Like a part of me is missing.
Gabby, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I feel moisturized. This Old Spice Fiji hand and body lotion has me smoother than ever, so.
That's what it does.
Dion?
I'm gonna need a minute.
You take as much time as you need.
All right.
That's our time.
When I started my new kombucha business, I thought there would be a lot more kombucha and a lot less business. As a new small business owner, I've learned that trying to be the cool boss is a lot harder when you're actually the stressed boss.
I know everything about my new furniture business. Well, everything except the whole business part.
Not anymore. With QuickBooks, you can confidently manage your business. New business, no problem.
Yeah.
Success starts with Intuit QuickBooks.
Welcome back. It is a gorgeous night in Columbia, South Carolina for the annual Garnet and Black game at Williams-Brice Stadium. Chris Carlin, Roman Harper on hand for South Carolina spring football. And as we said, a beautiful night, and down on the field, everything is great. Here is Roman Harper standing by with a special guest.
Thank you, Chris. I'm here with Tonka Hemingway, and big D lineman, not dressed up tonight, but all right, Tonka, give me some vibes. What's the vibes like tonight?
You know, it's good. You know, a little competition going on. Garnet versus Black. They had a little draft going on, so they've been talking junk ever since then.
Okay, so number one, who's been the biggest trash talker? And how are you guys going to come back? So you're not playing, but you're on the sideline, and you're representing with the Garnet tonight.
Biggest trash talkers? I'd probably say the coaches.
Okay.
The coaches of the team, training staff and the weight room staff. But to come back, just keep doing what we're doing, you know. And we're going to come back and get some picks. We should have really counted that pick right there.
I thought it was a pick too. They argue with me upstairs, but I was with the interception, but my man Chris was not. So is there anything, besides being healthy, tell me some of the things that the D-line have really focused on in keys this year?
We really focus on, you know, on being the most unselfish on the team, because we do a lot of dirty work, you know, people really don't see, but it comes back and they see it. We see it all the time because we play that position. And we're working on our keys, basically being the tempo of the team.
Yes. All right, Chris, you got it from here, my man Tonka Hemingway. We got good vibes down here, all positive vibes. D-line shooting hands, coaches talking trash. It's going to be a good night.
Just threw me under the bus right there. I didn't think it should have been a touchdown. No. But listen, Tonka Hemingway is a guy that was second team All-SEC last year. He's rehabbing from off-season surgery, and on that defensive line plays a huge factor for this team. Not somebody on the interior that's going to get a ton of pressure, but his job is more just to clog things up, and he was terrific in that role last year. And Roman, for playing on the back end, just the importance of those guys in the interior of the defensive line to help the linebackers, to help the defensive backs make the tackles once they become free in the run fence.
Well, this is a 4-2-5 defense, so you're going to have big guys up front to really eat up the blockers, knowing that you're going to be lighter in the second level because you only have two linebackers playing. So these guys got to have the ability to take on two blockers, to eat up two blocks, and now allow the linebackers to scrape over the top and your nickels and your safeties to really get into the run fit a lot more. That's the beauty of a 4-2-5, is that the ability to be multiple, to be able to disguise and do some other things that offenses are not used to seeing or able to recognize.
Well, between quarters here, they are running some kickoff drills. And so, in just moments, we'll return with more spring football action as we'll see the offense and defense once again here in Columbia. Back in the second quarter here in the Garnet Black game at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. The Gamecocks getting ready for 2023. Chris Carlin, Roman Harper. Glad you could join us tonight for some spring football as we get another look at the Black offense led by Spencer Rattler. And Roman, one of the big themes for South Carolina going into 2023 has got to be improvement along the offensive line. What have we seen here so far?
Well, I'm sure the coaches aren't loving it. They're not getting the running game established like they want to. I haven't seen a lot of guys pushed off the ball. They're not getting the movement that they would like. I know out of the shotgun, it's a little bit harder to get the run game downhill, but you still got to get guys moving and out of their gaps. And that's what we're missing right now. And once they get that going, it's going to open up the pass. We've seen them trying to take shots down the field. All that opens up a lot more when the run game is established first.
We saw Jalen Nichols, the fifth-year senior from Charlotte, go off the field with an injury earlier. Vershawn Lee from Woodbridge, Virginia. Interesting case. He is at center now after moving over from left guard, where he started 7 games last year. And that's an interesting transition because you go from the guard position, you're only sliding one spot over, but a lot more responsibilities there for the center.
Well, I think it's more the communication fact. You got to be able to snap the ball, I understand that, but you're not having a guy right there in front of you but it's the communication. The center is the glue of the offensive line. He's the one that gets everybody going in the right direction, and the communication from the center to the quarterback has to be A1, or you're going to have problems down the road.
The other thing you're seeing a lot more of is athletic centers, and here's a guy that played basketball in high school for his father, Vernon, and he is a terrific athlete at 6'4" and 310 pounds. As Rattler connects, this time hits Eddie Lewis, the transfer from Memphis. Originally started his career at Rutgers, a 15-yard pickup for Eddie Lewis.
You know, Chris, that's a play where back in the day you would have saw a safety decapitate that guy. But the rules of the game have changed so much where now the safeties have to try and get their aiming just right at the right time and hit him before he's defenseless. It just changes the game. It's so interesting. I got one coming right at me.
Rattler's taking a deep shot, but overshot the intended receiver. Once again, it was Lewis down that right sideline. Well, for Rattler, when you have this opportunity with the chances to take downfield like Eddie Lewis here, Rattler's got to get a feel for some of the new guys as well, like Lewis, who, as we said, has transferred now into his third program, and you have to get a feel for what their timing is and getting a lot of that right.
And it's also, you know, trying to throw the perfect pass as well. Sometimes when you don't know the guys all the well, you're just trying to put it on them, and it's not always going to be perfect, but you got to be able to let it be natural. And sometimes when you're trying to aim it, it won't come off the same. Right there, it looked like it was aimed and not just naturally thrown.
That was Trey Knox, who couldn't quite get enough of his hands on the football. A little bit high for Knox as Brian Thomas applied the pressure on Spencer Rattler, maybe why that football was not delivered on time. But when you have these tight ends, it's not even the safety valve aspect of it anymore, Roman. These are guys who are making plays downfield.
No, he's the main target.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. If you want to win, he's got to be the guy. That's a first down.
As he'll run it down inside the 25 to the 21. Rattler originally at the University of Oklahoma, where Shane Beamer was an assistant through 2020 before he got the head coaching job here in South Carolina. And after the 2021 season, Rattler came over and joined his former coach at Oklahoma, and it's worked out pretty well for him so far. And you know, we talked about the influence that Dowell Loggins can have on him, but the relationships are just so important, especially now in this era of the transfer portal.
Well, we talked to Coach Beamer about it yesterday. You know, in January, you looked up, it was 18, 20 different guys in the room. And so you have to continuously try and recruit your guys. The team continues to change, and you got to live for the day. There is no next year. There is no next 2 months. It's right now, and you got to stay relevant. You got to be honest with these guys, and you got to stay in their lives on a day-to-day basis because you don't know when or who may check out next.
Brian Thomas Jr. with the sack and a loss of 9 yards. Recruiting, meanwhile, going very well for Shane Beamer. 14th in the country, the best for South Carolina since 2009. How about 14 four-star recruits he's got coming in? He's got 10 of them already enrolled, mid-year enrollees. So by the time, Roman, as we were talking about yesterday, those guys get to the early part of the season, they're not even freshmen anymore. They will have seen this playbook 3 and 4 times and understand it.
Yeah, you know, when I was in school, I mean, I got there second semester of summer, and, you know, you're just trying to play a little bit, see if you're going to be able to make an impact. These guys are a part of this team right now, and some of these coaches are counting on these young men to come in, digest the playbook 2 or 3 times, and let's be ready to go when we start this, when we kick the ball off, when the season starts, because the roster turnover continues to change and impact rosters year in and year out on a faster basis, and that's what you're going to get. That is today's college football.
Once again, it's Knox on that out route, connecting 8 yards for Knox on that reception. We're seeing a nice little relationship building here between Knox and Spencer Rattler.
Chris, I told you he was the guy. I told you. And the closer and closer we get to the red zone, he's going to show up more and more. You just look at who his targets are out there for Spencer. And Trey Knox by far is the man. He's the biggest one out here. Of course, you got Juice Wells on the outside. But this is the familiarity that we were talking about that you're able to grow and do nowadays because guys don't have to wait. They can come in now and they can impact your roster as soon as they get done, as soon as the season's over from last year.
Fourth catch for Knox on that previous play, as Wells was the intended receiver, but not on the same page on that throw with Rattler. And so a fourth down coming up. We'll see if they're going to bring out the field goal unit, and they will. Black trying to extend their lead. 7-0. They scored on their opening drive, but there hasn't been a ton of offense since. It'll be Alex Herrera coming on, who played in 3 games last year. 39-yard field goal attempt that will come from the left hash. Kick is on its way. It's got the distance, and he got it. And so the Black has extended their lead to 10-0 over the Garnet. Bragging rights always on the line as we continue in Columbia.
If your internet comes from T-Mobile, you should know it's just phone internet, not home internet. Cox Internet is faster and has more reliable download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet. Cox keeps you up to speed, especially during peak hours when you need it most. So don't get phone internet, get real home internet from Cox.
When Broken Lizard goes medieval, every day is hump day.
Guys, off with his head! Kidding! Did you see the look on his face? Hello!
Quasi rated R.
The Black with a 10-0 lead over the Garnet as they run through some drills here in the spring game. In Columbia, South Carolina, Chris Carlin alongside Roman Harper. And I say alongside, Roman's down on the field tonight, giving us a different look, different perspective, getting some interviews in as well through the course of the game tonight. And defensively, a guy who was really impressive yesterday when we were talking to him, Roman, was Clayton White, the defensive coordinator. And what really resonated is when he talked about what he wants his defenses to be and what they have been in his estimation over the last couple of years. Aggressive, disciplined, and a group that is going to be unpredictable in what they do.
You know, anytime a D coordinator walks in the room and just has the demeanor of a defensive guy, you just get it. And that is who Coach White is. I saw it in his eyes, and he's out here on the sideline. He's handing out water. He's coaching because he's normally up in the booth. And so tonight he's taking advantage of being on the sidelines, getting around his guys, staying active, staying in their ears, and really just enjoying football. Tonight's a good night for football, and that's what he is doing right now. And I just love his intensity and his demeanor as a football coach.
He really comes across as somebody who loves the game and really connects well with his players. I thought yesterday in some of his comments when he's talking about trying to get to know a lot of these new faces, it just adds a level of excitement for him, and was really happy with their second scrimmage last week. Described his defense as a bunch of guys coming out like piranhas trying to get to the football after maybe they weren't aggressive enough in the first scrimmage a couple of weeks ago.
Well, the biggest thing here was continue to force turnovers, but the discipline factor cannot change. So you can play fast, you can be unpredictable, but you have to be disciplined. You have to be able to play within the confines of the scheme and the defense that we're trying to call. And so when you want to do all the movements and you want to be unpredictable, sometimes things get a little bit loose, but you're going to make a lot of plays. And at the end of the day, this defense has to be better at stopping the run. Last year they got gashed in certain games, and they gave up 30, 40 points in certain times. Then other games they look fantastic. So the consistency aspect, along with the discipline and the unpredictability, is what we want to be. You do not want to be known as a feast or famine defense. You want to be locked in. You want to be engaging. And, of course, you want to be known as aggressive. But at the end of the day, you got to strike fear in other teams teams when they're trying to catch the ball and run it on your defense.
You know, but Roman, the one thing that you said in there about the turnovers, it can be the ultimate deodorant, right?
Yes.
When you're struggling in other areas, turnovers can completely change the complexion of the game. And here's a program that over the last 2 seasons has forced 47 turnovers, and that's a big reason why in those 2 years that they have won 7+ games.
Well, Chris, first of all, I like that the comment of deodorant, because I could probably use another layer after being down here. It's a little muggy. It's getting a little muggy out here, but I got on pants too. But yes, turnovers do makes you overlook the mistakes, and sometimes it keeps you in games that you probably shouldn't be in, and especially when you score a touchdown off of the turnover. So yes, it's a way to mask your weaknesses, but he knows that and understands it, and that's why he said, look, I'm proud of the turnovers. I love that. We're not going to change that part of our DNA, but we got to be better in these couple areas, and if we do that, we're going to reach some goals that we want to be at, and we're also going to beat teams that we're probably not supposed to beat because of our defense. And we're not just going to talk about the offense, but the defense helping us win games in crucial moments of the game.
Well, he also has his work cut out for him this year in trying to replace 2 corners in Darius Rush and Cam Smith, who were going to get their names called during the NFL draft probably reasonably early. Those 2 guys were big-time playmakers, and when you're trying to replace guys at corner and also at edge rusher, that is a big challenge. Those are the two most important positions on defense.
Well, that's the main reason why they're drafted so high, because anytime you can affect the quarterback from the outside in, that is what NFL teams put a high quality at, and that's what they want. Oh, this is a good run right here.
That's Mario Anderson twisting off a pretty good run across the 30-yard line. The transfer from Division II Newberry College, finally brought down by Joseph Burns.
I like Mario Anderson's body type. He's low to the ground. He's sturdy, and he's going to break a lot of those arm tackles because of his body type and his ability not to go down. And also, you like it when guys come from smaller colleges. They get here on the big scenes, and they want to prove themselves that, hey, I made the right decision to be here. And I think you're going to see that in his running style.
5'9", 208 pounds as the other tight end, Joshua Simon, picks up a reception out in the flat and 4 more yards. You know, to that point, as you're talking about somebody like Anderson, what are going to be the biggest challenges here? Because in a lot of ways, Roman, he is jumping up 2 steps, not just 1. It's from Division II, not from the FCS, all the way up to SEC football.
It's a big jump, but look, you got to have confidence in every decision you make. You don't get to make this jump and then say, oh, I don't know. No, you got to believe in it, and you got to keep running. He's going to take some hits. He's going to get used to it, and there's no better way to do it than just get in the pool and get wet. So I love that he's running downhill. They look like they're trying to run downhill already better with him at the running back position.
Well, we talked about the fact earlier that they're a little thin at running back right now. They've got recruits coming in, high-level recruits coming in this year, but with Anderson and Juju McDowell and moving to Carrion Joyner to running back, they have to find somebody who's going to be able to be productive for them.
Yeah, and he doesn't think when he's running. He doesn't think like Joyner. He's like, I'm hitting it downhill. I see the hole. I'm getting 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And that's all you need. That's how you keep the chains moving. You're not going to get a 10, 12-yard carry every single time like high school. You got to be willing to get your pads dirty. You got to be willing to get a 3-yard run. And sometimes a 2-yard run is better than a 3-yard loss. That's just what winning football is what it is.
That was ruled a sack as Bam Martin Scott, the linebacker, 5th-year senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, transfer from Dodge City Community College in Kansas, credited for the sack. Anderson remains in the game on this 3rd and 15. Doty gonna get brought down once again. This time it's Donovan Westmoreland in the backfield, the sophomore from Georgia. They're having some protection problems in this game so far. Roman, when you're working with this offensive line, as we talked about earlier, and you're working on pass protection, it truly is one of the most difficult things to do in the game as a whole.
Well, the thing is, I love that Coach Locken said we're going to bring more NFL-type protections. It's going to be a little bit more simplified. It's better overall, but it's going to take some time to get used to it. It's going to get time to, to everybody be on the same page, including the running backs in protection. That's the NFL protection schemes that he's going to bring into this offense. And then from there, also keeping a lot of the college-style pace and speed in which we play, using the spacing and the sidelines and the hash marks to your advantage. That is what I'm looking forward to, what this offense will look like. You also got to look, this is a spring game. The best players are split up on both teams. So, no, there are no star teams. This thing is very much so divided. They made sure the draft did that for them. And so it's not going to be pretty all night, but we're going to see some really good plays on both sides.
Wonder if Spencer Rattler's night is over as Tanner Bailey, redshirt freshman from Gordo, Alabama, is into the game and taking a shot on his first opportunity, but overshot Eddie Lewis down the right sideline. So maybe Spencer Rattler is done for the evening. And as we said, besides Rattler and Luke Doty, the quarterbacks are live. The rest of them are live, so they can get hit. That's not something you see often in a spring game. And he's shaking hands. By the way, Rattler is shaking hands as if his night might be over.
And when you see the quarterback in the regular jersey, the D linemen are about to go hunt. Just know that. I'm telling you, I've been on that sideline. It's about to go now.
Quick throw to the outside and complete to Amarian Brown. Trying to get out to the corner, and does. Picks up 7 on the reception as King Dominion Ford pushed him out.
People on that sideline, do I need to bring them over?
Well, when we see the other quarterbacks starting to get some run here, these are all guys who need the development. These are all guys who need to get as close to live game action as you can, and in a lot of cases, for a guy like Bailey, for a guy like Braden Davis, who we'll see, and Lenora Sellers, this is going to be invaluable experience, considering during the year they won't get a whole lot of reps in practices leading up to games because you have to get your starters ready each and every week.
That's why you're going to see them get a lot of reps tonight. That's why Coach said he wanted to see what these guys do in real game live action, where you're not having just your teammates look at you, but fans and family, and see how you respond underneath the lights. Guys are different. Some guys are practice players, and other guys are real gamers that are terrible practice players. But I like to see guys that do it in practice and transition that over onto the field. And so we're going to see some of these young guys get out here and play and see who can actually make a play and separate this game tonight.
Black going to go for it here on a 4th down and 3 as Bailey's going down, and there's the live hit. A real sack for Elijah Davis, junior from Wagoner, South Carolina. Just cut back inside and then pushed outside to get the sack. And that will force a turnover on downs and should be pretty good field position if we're going to play by the rules, so to speak, here for the Garnet. In these spring games, coaches tend to make it up as we go along, Roman. Whatever their agenda is and whatever the work is that they want to get done, that's how they're going to approach it. But it looks like in this case, the Garnet is going to take over in excellent field position at the 31 of the Black after that sack.
And look, I told you the quarterbacks are going to be live when we get them with a regular jersey. So the first time, you don't get to take advantage of that most of the time. So that's really good tonight. And look, if Coach wants to move it to the other hash, we're going to move it to the other hash. We want to see a 2-point play, we're going to see a 2-point play. That's the best thing about spring ball. Let's get it all in tonight and get it on tape.
Here's Luke Doty out there once again, and very fortunate that that was just out of the reach of Ben Rollins. There was an opportunity there for the defensive back to come up and make the play as well. If Rollins had touched that ball, that might have been an easy pick. Doty trying to stake his claim at the backup job, and Anderson gets the call here. I'm really intrigued by this running back battle with Juju McDowell, with Anderson, and with Takarian Joyner and some of the prospects they have coming in, because one thing that they certainly need to do is run the football more effectively this season. Last year, 12th in the SEC and 100th in the country at just 119 yards per game.
And Anderson looks like the natural running back. He's the one that wants to go more downhill and, I don't know if he's going to break it off for 40, 50-yard carries, but sometimes you got to soften him up with body blows, and he's the body blow type of guy. And then you have a change of pace guy with some speed like Joyner or somebody else to get us out on the edge.
As we're talking about the opportunity there to get your offense going and get into a bit of a rhythm. One of the big keys last year for Spencer Rattler was they were dropping back to throw the football more over those last 3 games. So when we talk about running the football effectively, it's not go out there and run for 300 yards every week, Roman. It's go out there and make the running game effective enough so they have to respect it. When they were throwing the ball 66% of the time over the last 3 games, what do you know? They're throwing up 44 points a game during that stretch.
Well, it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. You got to get guys just a little bit. And also the decision-making. The max protection, the blocking schemes were different as well. Not getting as many guys out.
Mitch Jeter attempting a 53-yard attempt. It's got the distance, but he missed it wide to the left. Jeter last season was 10 of 10 on his field goals. He was absolutely perfect, but that one he hooked a bit. And so the Garnet still scoreless, trailing 10-0. Well, with that opportunity to throw the ball as much, what were the things that impressed you the most about Rattler, especially when he opened things up in that Tennessee game, Roman?
Well, his decision-making improved tremendously. His also ability, his calmness in the pocket. He started to believe in his line. He wasn't falling or fading out of the pocket. The decision was there, and he made the throw. It wasn't second-guessing. There was no hesitation in his game. And when he does that, he looks outstanding. And when he runs into problems, it's usually because he's patting the ball a little too much. He's kind of fading out of the pocket, and he's doing things uncharacteristic of great quarterbacks. And so as long as he can stay within himself and don't get rattled, don't do anything outside of himself, and understand that it's okay to make a mistake while playing great football, that's when Spencer Rattler's at his best.
438 yards, 6 touchdowns, both career highs in that game. A timeout taken by the Garnet here with 1 minute and 31 seconds remaining in the half. But, you know, the ownership factor for Rattler in the offense, that I thought really came out in what Dow Loggins was saying yesterday. This is not, here's what we're going to do. It's, let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. What are you comfortable with, so that the quarterback has some ownership in what's going on, and that goes a long way toward building that trust.
It's a back and forth relationship, Chris. You know, we're talking. It's not a mistake. I just want to know why. Just tell me the why, and then let's clean it up. But I want you to try and go, right? And so you saw at certain times last year, you know, it's a 4 vertical look. He makes the throw in practice, but in the game he doesn't make the throw. And it was more open in the game. Why is that? So what am I doing, or how can I help you get in a more comfortable position where you're cutting it loose? You're not thinking, you trust the game plan, you trust what we're calling, and then we get the best version of Spencer Rattler.
Tanner Bailey trying to add to the black lead, connects with Trey Knox. It's out of bounds near the 45-yard line with 1 minute and 25 remaining in the first half. A 10-0 lead. Colin Bryant forced him out. See if he can get them into field goal range. Bailey, as we said, from Gordo, Alabama. Last year did not get any playing time. 8,600 yards and 104 touchdowns in his collegiate career as he takes a shot down the right side. Eddie Lewis hauled it in. Is it going to count? We have a penalty flag down as well, and it looks like it is a reception at the 33. The official just put the ball down there. 22-yard pickup. Eddie Lewis, did he run out of bounds before he made the catch and then come back in? We think that's what the call is.
The wheel on the field is a completed catch for a first down.
Wow. That left foot, I'm not sure if he got it down on the white, but they are going to say it's a first down.
Well, Chris, we want points. It's a spring game, so
Exactly.
we'll keep it moving. We want points tonight, all right? We got a crowd here.
I don't think they're going upstairs to take a look. Let's put it that way. Or downstairs in that case. So Eddie Lewis to transfer from Memphis with his second catch of the night. Tanner Bailey taking a deep shot. He's got a man wide open down the sideline, and that's Juice Wells. How do you leave the guy with 68 catches and 6 touchdowns that wide open down the left sideline? Breakdown in the coverage there, Roman.
Definitely. I think the corner believed he started to squat. I thought he believed that the safety's supposed to be over top. That is a miscommunication. What starts to happen when you get the second guys in, and you're starting to get some rotation in the secondary, guys have to understand where you need to be at, whether you're in the red zone or the high red zone. You got to be able to defend the best wide receiver on the field.
First team All-SEC last year. Was second in catches and yards to only Jalen Hyatt of Tennessee, who's going to get his name called relatively high next week in the NFL draft. And the point after is good to extend the Black lead to 17-0 with 1:11 remaining here in the first half. For Bailey, just the recognition itself has got to be pretty good, but I think for a quarterback, when you look down the field and see that guy that open, you got to be feeling like your eyes are wide open trying to get him the ball. Shane Beamer has to be happy with what he's seen so far from the Blacks offense tonight. Won't get any easier than that during the season, and the closest man to him was O'Donnell Fortune, the junior from South Carolina. Roman Harper standing by downstairs with Spencer Rattler.
Gotcha. Sorry, guys, we were just trying not to get hit over here. So, Spencer, great. First of all, good job on the first drive, getting it down there, going to score. How'd you feel? How'd you feel out there?
I felt really good. It's good to be back out in front of these fans. Loving our new offense. It's a good first drive, go down, get a touchdown, can't complain.
Talking about your offense, Coach Loggins talked about your thirst for knowledge. And since he's been here, you've been nothing but excellent about that. Could you talk about you guys' relationship?
You know, D'Lo, he's a great coach. Like we said earlier, we look at it as a partnership, not a coach-player thing. He teaches all of us quarterbacks great things, and we apply it to the field and just keep learning and progressing each day.
So this thing that you're taking to the field, one thing that you're taking to the field tonight that you have maybe not had in your past?
You know, I can't name it off the top of my head. I just wanted to come out here, be efficient, play fast, communicate well, and honestly just score a touchdown before I got out.
I get it. All right, let's talk about this new tight end weapon you got, Trey Knox. I mean, he's a big guy, big target. How excited are you to have him in this offense?
Super excited. He's had a great spring. I mean, he's shown he can make many plays out here. I missed him on one, but got him a touchdown, so I'm happy for him.
So when you're coming to a spring game, your thought process, I just want to throw a couple touchdowns and just get out of here. As a quarterback, that's my goal.
I mean, hey, you know, we knew we weren't going to get as many reps tonight with having 6 quarterbacks, so we wanted to score at least one.
Well, Chris, he got his goal tonight, man. Spencer, good luck on the season, man. Keep it going. Looking forward to continue shining.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Man, looked pretty sharp. He did a nice job while he was out there tonight. Spencer Rattler, a guy that, as we said, had his ups and downs last season, but when you see what he's capable of in throwing up 63 points against Tennessee, the wins that they had later in the year, the win over Clemson, 31-30, which is always, as you can imagine, the most important game in the state of South Carolina. And then even in the bowl game, putting up 38 points when you're at a point in the season where you're just running out of gas. We've had some guys leave because of transfer and getting ready for the NFL draft who don't necessarily play in the bowl game. Rattler's a guy that next year hopes to have an opportunity to play in the league and to get his name called at the NFL draft.
Well, Chris, he's going to get his name called. He's got too much talent not to. It's going to be all about his progression from here going forward. Talent's not the issue. It's going to be putting it all together consistently game after game. He will get passes on the fact that his wide receivers may not be top-tier guys. but his arm talent and his decision making will be what separates him. He has to be smart with the football, and when you take care of the football, whether you don't throw as many touchdowns or not, NFL teams and GMs will love that, because you must understand how valuable the ball is in the NFL. It is worth millions, and the more you get it, the more you get paid.
Well, it's funny, Dow Loggins, in talking about Spencer, said, listen, there's only one bad call you can make, and that's a slow call. You have to get out there and not be afraid to make the call and to have the guts to go after it, because when we're in one-on-one situations, they're very comfortable taking their chances with their receivers.
They are, and he's got the arm to put it there. And so you already see the connection between the two. He calls him D-Lo. He's already got
Ball is out. Looks like the Garnets got a turnover. Elijah Davis punched it free, and it was scooped up by Jamal Weiss. And turnovers, they were a big factor on both sides of the ball last year for South Carolina. Yeah, they forced a ton of them, but they gave an awful lot back. 27 turnovers last season for their offense. And well, you just saw the, I don't want to say anger isn't the word, but the disappointment when turnovers become a topic for a head coach in a meeting like that.
Well, Coach Beamer, that's the one thing he said he did not want to see was turnovers. You got to get that stat cleaned up. We know we force a lot, but we give away a lot. So you don't actually get the true benefit of it when you're putting the ball on the ground. And that's also another thing you get when you get to hit the quarterback. Guys are going at it tonight.
So Tanner Bailey coughs it up. Now a penalty flag flies pre-snap. And Luke Doty trying to get the Garnet.
False start. Offense. Number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Into the end zone before the end of the half. And that is not going to help right out of the gate. That's going to annoy a head coach, and you can see the look on Shane Beamer's face when he is seeing a false start before getting the football at the 20-yard line. Doty connecting. This time it's the other tight end, Joshua Simon. Down inside the 20-yard line. Clock down to 16 seconds. Bam Martin Scott made the stop. Timeout for the Garnet with 13 left. Garnet with no timeouts left, so they may have one or two shots remaining. Roman, your thoughts what we've seen so far in the first half?
It's been kind of up and down. I've seen some really good plays. I thought Spencer was good when he needed to be. It's just so hard to judge a spring game because the way they divided the teams up, you don't have ones with ones. And you don't have guys that normally work with each other. So everything's a little bit thrown off, but you like the ball placement. You like the excitement in which the guys are playing with. The defenses are all trying to fly around. I haven't seen a lot of miscommunication or missed assignments. I've seen some mental errors, but not missed assignments, which is crucial if you want to play solid defense. And then offensively up front, they've had a couple run-throughs. They got to get that part of the offensive line cleaned up.
Here's Doty taking a shot for the end zone. Penalty flag flies. Is he going to get a pass interference down near the goal line with 13 seconds left? Let's see what the call is.
Holding. Defense. Number 8. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
True freshman Emery Lloyd from Marietta, Georgia, called on the penalty. Didn't quite see it there. Landon Sampson, the intended receiver. That will put the football at the 8-yard line. With 13 seconds remaining, Anderson in the backfield. So let's see if Doty can punch it in here for the Garnet. On the crossing route, Simon, and he is run out of bounds. The official initially gave the indication that the clock would continue to run, and it did all the way down to 2. And the Garnet did have one timeout remaining, so they will take it. As I said, at times during these games, they're just making up the rules as we go during the spring. And that's what I think happened there. And so they'll send out the field goal unit to try to get on the board.
Chris, I think the Garnett is just trying to get some kind of points before halftime. My man Clint, who's the head coach, didn't even know when to call timeout. He's, the head trainer, so he's not used to being a head coach, but he's working it out over here, guys. He's working it out.
The head trainer is the head coach tonight for the Garnet. They try to have as much fun, not just for the players, but for the staff as well, as he connects. That is Mitch Jeter, who missed earlier from 53, but he gets the Garnet up onto the scoreboard. A 23-yard field goal to close out the first half. It has been all black, 17-3 so far tonight. And the annual Garnet and Black game, lots of fun so far. Up next, SEC Talk. Peter Burns, Paul Feinbaum join us in moments. Looking forward to the NFL Draft next week here in South Carolina. Halftime of the spring game. We're about set to get started with the third quarter. 17-3, the Black over the Garnet. Chris Carlin, and downstairs on the field is Roman Harper standing by with the Gamecocks head coach, Shane Beamer.
Coach, this is what we come here for, right? Underneath the lights are going crazy. How does this make you feel right now?
Proud, grateful to be the head coach here. This is awesome. April 15th, and look at this. So, just blessed to be in the position I'm in. We got the greatest fans in America, and you guys are seeing it tonight.
Now, Coach, first half, Black scored a couple touchdowns, had a couple of forced turnovers on the Garnet team. What do we need to get cleaned up for the second half?
It looks like too many drops. We've had some critical drops on the Garnet team. Luke at quarterback's been playing pretty good and giving our guys opportunity to make plays. Got a true freshman quarterback coming in here now. See what he can do with the Garnet offense. So I'm excited. We're going to have a bunch of young players playing this half, and they made it a two-score game, so let's see what happens.
Coach, I've been that young player before. How do you keep the nerves down on these young guys and still allow them to say, hey, go cut it loose and let's put it all on tape and we'll get it corrected tomorrow?
I just told him on the sideline, just go here and have fun. He won a state championship in high school, not just him, but all of our young guys. When you look about them out here, they don't look like freshmen. And I'm hoping under the lights here, they don't play like freshmen.
Well, appreciate it, Coach, man. Get back to it. We'll see y'all soon. Thank you.
Great energy that Shane Beamer brings to this program. It's really infectious. It's funny. During our meetings with him yesterday, asked him what he is proudest of the most and just where things are headed for his program, that he can have somebody like he did earlier this week who is a 46-year season ticket holder come up to him this week and say, this is the most optimistic I've ever been about South Carolina football. And he was really beaming, so to speak, after hearing that. And you see Lenornis Sellers, the true freshman from Florence, South Carolina, ESPN's number 8 dual threat quarterback, a 4-star recruit, and a guy that they feel awfully good about. He picks up 7 yards on that run. Roman, this is somebody that they expect to be an exciting part of their future here.
And there's no better way to get him started than letting him run the ball early. Sit, get the nerves out of you. We'll have some easy throws, maybe a throwback. There we go.
And you see the nerves there as he gunned it right over the middle toward Ben Rollins. A little too much mustard on it.
That's exciting. That's all nerves right there. That's just nerves from a young player. All those things will get worked out in a series or two. I've been there. I've done that. And it's okay.
Finalist for the Mr. Football Award as the top player in all of South Carolina last year. He's got those glasses, and if he becomes a star here, there are going to be fans wearing glasses all over the place. You just know it as he takes off. Look at the tremendous athleticism of Sellers, who slides out to midfield. Wow, Roman, he turned on the jets. That was impressive.
And guys, I just had Shane Beamer look at me and point to me like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So this is what they've been waiting on. He has the ability to escape, to create. And you see when he gets to the second level, he's not going down unless you're going to get him down.
He's not a small guy, 6'3", 232 pounds. And as is the custom, when you first get on campus, one of the first things you were doing is looking to add weight. And can you imagine that guy coming at you as he takes a deep shot down the right sideline and just out of the reach of the intended receiver, Ben Rollins. Omega Blake was there as well.
Yeah, I anticipate somebody ran the wrong route right there. You usually don't have two guys right beside each other in a go ball. So Sellers did a good job of just throwing up there, giving his guy a chance, but I don't know which guy he was throwing it to.
Kind of looked like it might have been Rollins because the way Blake looked at him, Blake just stopped short, didn't want to run into him. Otherwise, Blake might still be running.
That's like somebody's got to call it in baseball, right? The center fielder's got it.
Sellers gives it off. It's Dante Miller, graduate student from Rockingham, South Carolina, and a transfer from Columbia, where he played football from 2018 to 2021. Bam Martin Scott making that tackle. See that guy right there? Talking about Columbia, Ivy League transfer. Nick Gargiulo, who you just saw a moment ago, another Ivy League transfer on the offensive line, came in from Yale. And he's a guy they feel really good about. And just as I say that, Sellers goes down and gets sacked. But to go back to Gargiulo, here's a guy that was the team captain for Yale, and they have one team captain for the entire year. I believe you made the point that he looked distinguished in his picture, Roman.
Distinguished is a great, I mean, I used it. It's a great word to describe this young man, Nick. He looks the part. He looks like an academia. He looks the part. I mean, the mustache just really sells it. I hope you guys are showing the people what this young man looks like, because words do not describe his distinguished look.
Well, right now he is walking up and down the sideline as Bam Martin Scott was a little bit banged up on the play. But Gargiulo, somebody that played in 25 games over the last few years, got his degree in economics and political science. And when you asked Shane Beamer who he was most excited to see, he's like, you probably think I'm going to say Trey Knox or Josh Simon. No. I want to see Nick Gargiulo because he plays with a violence to him, a real tough and nastiness that you need on the offensive line.
Well, offensive line is the only position that I know of where you get called nasty and it's a compliment. So when anybody, the coach leads off by saying that, you know exactly what category to put this young man in. And so you see that and you want to see it kind of come out. And also, he was a player that really didn't know how good or what he would fit early, you know, coming from Yale, now being an offensive lineman in the SEC, where all you hear about are the big bad ghosts called big physical linemen that he has to block. And now he's starting to settle in. He's starting to believe himself. And he understands that he's going to play a vital role in this offensive line going forward.
It appears like the night might be over for Luke Doty, the backup quarterback. We have a penalty flag as well.
Legal substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Got a man on the field too late as Tanner Bailey plays in his third series. Juju McDowell getting some run in the backfield at the carry on that play. He's the leading returning rusher for the Gamecocks this season with just 62 carries, 219 yards last season, I should say. He'll remain in there and get the call to the 20-yard line. McDowell, a freshman All-SEC performer as a running back and a kick returner back in 2021. But that offensive line, as we talked about, is something that has to improve a great deal for South Carolina to have good success on offense this coming year. And one thing to keep in mind, you know, the portal opens up again here in the coming days. And then all of a sudden, you get a chance, Roman, to potentially add even more to this roster. Right now, Roman is standing by, though. We'll talk about that in a second. He's got Luke Doty.
Luke, what's up, man? How you doing today? Good game out there early. First half, getting the jitters out. How was it out here in this spring in the game tonight? How you think you did?
I thought it went well. You know, being able to get back in front of the home crowd and just all the Gamecock community, Gamecock family, it was a lot of fun. So we got another 2 great quarters, and, you know, we're moving the ball right here. So proud of these guys, man. We've had a great spring and just, you know, looking to continue to get better this summer.
So, you know, you were thrust in position to play quarterback your freshman year. And I don't know if you were always ready. How have you changed or grown since that moment?
Yeah, I think just going back and, you know, assessing what I'm good at and what I'm not, and then, you know, really just working on the things that I'm not good at. And I think I've come a long way since then.
Don't be scared. I won't let you get hit, bro. I won't let you get hit.
You're good. But, yeah, man, just finding things every single day to get better at. Just one thing every single day I think has really pushed my game forward. Spending time in the film room, breaking down coverages, defenses, things like that, I think has elevated my game as a player. And then, obviously, Spencer coming in here, being able to watch him and the way that he operates, that's been awesome for me because I can take, you know, the things that he does and add them to my toolbox as well.
And he talked about the relationship in that room with Coach Loggins as well.
Yeah.
What dimensions have you think he's also added to your game or allowed you to see where you could grow at?
Yeah, I think just, you know, seeing coverage as a whole instead of just maybe half the field or
that's a big deal.
Stuff like that. So I definitely think that's helped me improve. You know, when I step out there, I don't see just one half of something. I see the whole picture. So again, I'm going to continue to get better at that and all the other things that, you know, we work on in there. But yeah, D'Lo's awesome, man. He's brought a great feel to the room. And everybody's just comfortable in there, man. It's a good feeling, you know, when you step into the meeting room and you know your guy has your back. So
it seems like everybody's really coming together as a team, especially in that quarterback room. What does the Garnet team need to do to make a comeback tonight? Because I picked them to win. So where are we going?
I think we need to get some stops on defense, which we're about to do right now. Play well on offense. We got Lenoris out there. He's had one hell of a spring. Obviously coming in as a freshman early, that's tough on a lot of guys, but he's taking it in stride, and you know, he's just showing off what he can do out there, man. So excited to see what he can do this half, and I don't call it a comeback, but I like our chances.
Thank you, Luke. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. Continue to progress, and let's not call it a comeback. You heard that?
Here's McDowell into black territory. Make it Dakarian Joyner, the converted wide receiver, on the carry. We saw McDowell earlier with a good 10-yard burst previously on that drive. They have to get Joyner as many reps as they can. I mean, Roman, the way you were talking about it at the end, the way you picked him, did you lay the points or something tonight? I didn't think it was that. You were that intent on winning your pick before the game tonight. Dakarian Joyner once again getting the call, trying to get to the corner and can't quite do it. Very good tackle from Jalon Kilgore, the freshman from Eatonton, Georgia. Sixth run of the night for Dakarian Joyner, and made a great open field tackle. And Roman, that's one of the things that we were discussing yesterday with the coaches, that the two most important things in football, or two most difficult things in football to do, as described by Dowell Loggins, pass protect and tackle in open space. And that was a pretty good example of how to tackle in open space.
Well, the thing that most people don't understand about tackling is that it's 75% want to, and then 25% technique. You got to understand when you can go low on guys, what's the angle in which I got to attack certain players. And me personally, I'll always like to have a tackle plan for each running back, receiver, or tight end I face, because you can't treat them all the same. This is not all the same body types, and they're not all the same skill as well. So when you got these quick, shifty guys, you better know where you're going to go after this guy. You better have something in mind, because you can't just show up and think you're going to get them down. They're too athletic and too fast.
Bailey stripped of the football on the sack. It is saved by the black. Brian Thomas came in looking like his father back in the day, the former defensive end with the New York Jets in the NFL, and just a technique sack and his technique strip sack right there by Thomas.
That's one of my favorite pass rush moves. It's just a double swipe. It's almost like a windshield wiper. As soon as that offensive lineman shows you hands, you double swipe, get that body away from him, get those shoulders turned, that foot turned towards the quarterback, and go get him. Great job right there.
17-3, the black on top. Garnet, don't call it a comeback. An explosion from Bradley Dunn to get the Garnet outside the shadow of their own goalposts, and a pickup of 10 yards on the carry on the first play of this series. Garnet trailing 17-3 to the Black in the annual spring game here in South Carolina for the Gamecocks, getting ready for the upcoming 2023 season. Chris Carlin, Roman Harper on hand here at Williams-Brice Stadium, and another hole to run through for Dunn, the redshirt junior from Columbia, South Carolina, right here in town. And Burns once again made the stop, 16 yards on that carry, so they're starting to get some push up front. Quarterback Lenora Sellers, the true freshman, 6'3", 232, getting some good run here. We saw Spencer Rattler, the starter for South Carolina in the first half, and played pretty well. Gave them some productive drives. We also saw Luke Doty, his backup. Those two were not hit through the course of the first half, but all the other quarterbacks will be live here in the second half. We've seen Tanner Bailey get stripped of the football a couple of times so far. A gain of 6 as the Garnet starting to move the football here late in the third quarter. Sellers fighting to get into the mix for that backup quarterback job, but you can see the explosion in his game as a 4-star recruit. And he was the number 8 dual threat quarterback in the country, and an important recruit here for South Carolina, who had a tremendous recruiting season, 14th overall with this class, and they had 14 4-star recruits coming in, some of whom have already enrolled and some still to come, as Bradley Dunn getting more carries. But Sellers, 45 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year in high school. Wow. Impressive stuff, but a high snap here. He's going to try to bail himself out by running around, and he could just wisely try to throw it away on the sideline. He tried to make a play at a one-handed grab by Kylik Horton. I thought he was trying to throw it away, but Horton was right there. He was out of bounds. Just watch this, though. The replay of Sellers and his athleticism of scooping the ball up, and then Horton trying to make the catch across his body. He gave him a chance, but Horton couldn't quite stay in bounds.
He had another guy.
Middle, and wow, what a connection, and a huge play downfield for DJ Black. And that was a lightning strike into the hands of DJ Black. Roman, that was impressive. Right on time.
Chris, the throw was amazing, but as a defensive back, you don't understand how great that dive was right there by number 43 Burns. As our safety, you got to give us another chance. I know it's a great offensive play, but I have to give some little bit of love to the secondary, just giving us a chance to line up again.
A little bit of love, or perhaps a little too much love. Fourth quarter coming up here in South Carolina. Coaching legends on hand here in Columbia. Frank Beamer, of course, the father of Shane Beamer and College Football Hall of Fame inductee, longtime coach at Virginia Tech. Beamer ball, so important. And Dawn Staley, who has built one of the dominant programs in women's college basketball here in Columbia, on hand here tonight as well for the Garnet and Black game, spring football game here at the University of South Carolina for the Gamecocks. Chris Carlin alongside Roman Harper, and I say alongside, Roman's been down on the field all night, giving us a much different perspective of things. The Black with a 17-3 lead over the Garnet as we start the fourth quarter. In the second half, we're having 10-minute quarters. The Garnet driving down inside the 15-yard line thanks to Lenora Sellers connecting on a 50-yard pass play just moments ago to DJ Black. Bradley Dunn getting the call. Roman standing by with DQ Smith of the Carolina defense.
Yes, this is sophomore safety DQ Smith. DQ, let's just talk about a little bit from last year and your progression and growth since this year. You were a freshman last year, made a whole bunch of plays for this secondary and this team. How are you progressing? How are you feeling more of a leadership role?
Just becoming a leader for the younger guys coming in. You know, last year I know I did some great things, but we could be better. So, you know, just knowing what offense can give us and, you know, just learning formations and, you know, just playing the ball from there.
How's the communication been between you and your other safety companions?
Me and Nick, you know, we are close friends off the field, so that's, you know, that chemistry, it leads us to on the field. So, you know, we can get tighter, we can become have a tighter bond, but right now, you know, our chemistry is really good.
All right, now the one thing I love about you guys' defense is how you force all the turnovers. We got a ball here. Maybe you give me a couple examples of some of the turnover circuits that you guys work on a day-to-day and day-out basis.
Okay. So one we got.
How you want to do it?
Okay. So right here, running back or anybody will, you know, defender coming from this way.
Touchdown. Wow. Team Garnet coming back, baby.
Okay.
Dante Miller.
A running back or anybody will want to stiff arm you. So, you know.
It's Roman.
Another thing we have, I come on this side.
Number one of TV, don't put down the mic. All right, my bad. I'm new over here, guys. I'm new. All right.
So normally they'll be running. We just punch and keep punching. Just keep punching. That's another thing we're doing on 7-on-7, trying to force turnovers. Also stumble when a running back is like stumbling. So, you know, we're going down, about to touch the ground or something. They usually tend to let the ball get loose a lot. So, you know, when they do that, we usually come back and try to hit it out from the back.
Yeah, so that's a great example. So usually running backs, if you go at their legs or the first time they stumble, they're always teed to keep the ball high and tight. The first thing that comes loose when they're on the ground or going down is the ball gets loose. So now it's a great opportunity for the defender to come punch the ball out. This is what South Carolina's working on every day. And, of course, that's why they lead the SEC in turnovers.
Hey, we're getting better still, man. We're getting better.
Back to you.
They've done an amazing job at it. Last year, forced 8 fumbles and recovered 8 fumbles, I should say. Had 15 interceptions, 23 turnovers overall. It's been a huge part of their success here in the first 2 years under Shane Beamer, where they have forced 47 turnovers during that stretch. And that's a big part of why they've won 7 games or more each of the first 2 years. They were picked in his first season, finished deep down toward the bottom of the SEC East and ended up winning 7 games and going to a bowl game and beating North Carolina in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. Meanwhile, new quarterback is in. It's Braden Davis for the Black as the Garnet has cut into the lead. 2-yard pickup there on the run for Davis. He is a redshirt freshman from Middletown, Delaware, where he was the Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior with nearly 1,900 passing yards and 20 touchdowns for the state champions. Davis in the Black trying to answer back, and he connects on the outside. This time it's Joseph Morris with his first catch. Sophomore from Camden, South Carolina. He picks up 13. So the Black trying to answer back with the touchdown they just gave up, which, by the way, was just a fantastic touchdown run by Dante Miller. Bouncing and spinning back to the outside and fighting his way to the goal line for the Garnet. A 97-yard drive the Garnet put together there with Lenora Sellers at quarterback. Trying to get to the corner to the near side, it's DJ Twitty. We're starting to see some of the deeper guys on the roster get opportunities here in the fourth quarter with 7:20 and clock ticking down, a gain of 6. Roman, it's amazing for the opportunity for the younger guys right now, the guys who are 3rd, 4th down on the depth chart, trying to really state their case and show what they can do. And Moments ago, we saw Lenoris Sellers lead that drive. That was impressive.
It was impressive, and they always tell you, and it's just coach talk, you know, don't count your reps, make the reps count. And this is another great example of it. You're going to hear more and more about this young Sellers kid because he led his team to a scoring drive. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris, I'm getting a little nervous because I don't know the overtime rules of spring football. I don't know. So.
Well, they'll make them up as we go. Don't worry. And my guess would be, considering the primary goal is to come out of the game healthy, they may be comfortable ending in a tie.
You know what we should do? We should make the rules up ourselves. We should have a kickoff, all right? Put some pressure on the kickers, and let's see who's going to really win a job out here tonight.
Like a home run derby.
There it is. Let's just go. Let's just kick off, and let's see who can make the most in a row. We'll move the ball around as we please, and we'll see who makes the most. And then that team will be the winner.
Well, but as you know, we see it all the time in practice in college football. They do everything they can to make as much noise, to put as much pressure on these kickers as they can, to try to get them used to being into pressurized situations. It's a little different to win or lose a game as opposed to, you know, having to run a couple of more gassers if he misses.
That's what I'm saying. It's a great example. You're in front of the stadium. You got fans. You have a band. You know, everybody's here. There's no bigger pressure than right now in the spring game.
Well, we saw Frank Beamer a few moments ago in attendance tonight. Shane Beamer's dad, and of course, the great head coach for so many years at Virginia Tech. And what was the identity of Frank Beamer and Beamer ball? It was special teams. And let's just say Shane Beamer is his father's son with what they did on the special teams units last year, including 6 blocked kicks, tied for 3rd in the FBS.
My favorite thing about Shane Beamer as a head coach is that I love when coaches just don't lose games, that you try and put your stamp on the game as a coach, and that's why you're going to see more fake field goals. You're going to see the fake punts, and also going for the punt block, where a lot of coaches like to just play conservative. I love it when the coaches impact the game in the right way.
Braden Davis has thrown an interception, and Colin Bryant is going to run it back for the Garnet. A 46-yard return, and they are an extra point away from tying it up. You, my friend, saw this coming.
I called it. I knew it was coming. These things, football just has this weird way of just always taking us down that same yellow brick road, my friend.
And so a pick 6 and a tremendous play by Colin Bryant, the sophomore from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, transferred from Alabama a couple of years ago, making the most of the chance and returning it for the score. Roman, are you going to get down there and try to put the jinx on Mitch Jeter for this point after?
You are the announcer curse. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Well, here's Jeter, who ties the game up with 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining here at Williams-Brice Stadium. He had all day to throw the football, but Braden Davis is late. Now, he's had a lot of fun tonight. Shane Beamer, always a smile on his face, and can't believe what's going on here at Williams-Brice Stadium. The Garnet was down 17-0, and that is his reaction on a pick 6 moments ago by Colin Bryant that just tied this game up at 17 with 5:09 left. Now, we were given the rules before the game. There was nothing that covered overtime, Roman Harper. I don't know where this is going.
I blame Luke Doty. He said don't call it a comeback early. And then I thought about it. I looked at the score. I got a little nervous. And this is where we're at. So hopefully we get a 2-minute drive from somewhere.
Well, the Black gets the football back and an opportunity at quarterback for Colton Gauthier, redshirt sophomore from Georgia, who did not get any opportunities to play last year, for over 6,500 yards in high school. Also had 17 rushing touchdowns, and an opportunity here late in the game, get a chance to show his wares with under 5 minutes remaining in the annual Garnet Black game here in South Carolina. He now has it on his shoulders after the Black blew a 17-0 lead. That pass intended for Aaron Morton, but Morton could not make the reception. Dal Loggins never going to stop coaching here, still trying to help his quarterbacks out in these circumstances. And the new offensive coordinator who came over from Arkansas, spent 2 years there as the tight ends coach and 17 years in the NFL as a coach as well. Offensive coordinator for the Jets under Adam Gase, among other stops in his career. To the outside, and it is complete. DJ Twitty out of the backfield. All right, so you're going to try to use this as 2-minute drill here eventually. How are you going to try to play this out to get the most out of it, Roman, if you're Shane Beamer here?
Well, the biggest things, we always rep this in practice. You always do it, but you don't actually get to, try and do this in game live activities where the quarterback's live, the pressure's live, and the defenses are going to really ratchet up right here. I'm watching defensive coordinator Clayton White over here. Nobody's more excited than him, especially after that last touchdown on the defense. He's over here staring at the other sideline. You can tell the coaches are really the ones talking all the trash out here tonight.
Twitty might have lost the ball in the middle there for a second. And it looks like there's a stoppage. They might have stopped him short on that 4th down and 1. Did the Garnet just come up with a big stop? The Black is saying we have a first down. The Garnet is saying you don't. But it looks like they are going to say they got enough. And it is a first down as the clock continues to run with 3:40 left. That was close. Bryant thought he had to stop after he had the pick 6 moments ago. As Shane Beamer continues to coach and make the most of the opportunity for his younger players.
I think Coach Beamer is the one that tipped the scales on that first down right there, guys. I did not see them bring the chain gang out. I think Coach
he was
said, you know what, let's keep it moving a little bit. Let's keep this game progressing. Hopefully give these guys another chance to try and score.
Flags fly as they're going to continue to run the football with DJ Twitty. Elijah Davis made the tackle, but we'll check the penalty here.
Shift, offense, 2 players moving at the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That'll move it back. Don't you get the impression that Shane Beamer's trying to move the clock along here a little bit? As they keep running the football in this series for the Black. Black got off to a great start. They went all the way down the field, 75 yards on their opening drive, which Spencer Rattler at quarterback. They got out to a 17-0 lead, but the Garnet has come all the way back to tie this game up. Nathan Harris Wainick on the carry out to the 39-yard line. They'll give him forward progress to the 40. So we're under 2.5 minutes remaining. Let's go downstairs. Guest for Roman Harper with Juju McDowell.
Juju, first of all, glad you got this game healthy. You're looking good. You're looking fly. How's the body holding up tonight?
My body feels pretty good. This spring, we did a terrific job of just handling reps and making sure everybody was healthy and able to maintain throughout the spring. So my body feels pretty good.
I know it's been a huge emphasis on getting the run game going a lot more this season. How do you think some of the new play callings coming in or just overall grand scheme of where the run game looks like and where it's going to be by the time the season starts?
I feel like the run game is going to be pretty good. We have terrific schemes coming in, overall, mostly during the spring, everybody on the offense, especially the O-line, is getting comfortable with the running scheme. So I'm really proud of us for that. I feel like that'll be a big edge for us coming into the season with the line being most comfortable with the scheme. So I'm excited to see what the run game is going to bring.
I always, when I talk to O-linemen, friends that I have, they always say it's different when you have different running backs because you guys all see it differently. How do you think that changes up the run game, or it doesn't make it harder for you guys to stay more consistent because you're a running back by committee?
Majority of the times through numerous football programs it does, but here I feel like the diversity, it keeps us on point. It keeps the defense guessing. At the same time, our O-line,
the game is about adjustment. So, you know, the best adjustment is the best adjustment. So our O-line, they take it with a grain of salt and get to work. So,
all right, so the overtime rules, let us in on it. Is there an overtime rule? We do not have the answer over here. We don't know. We're all panicking over here.
Man, I'm going to put it like this. Y'all know Coach Beamer always got a trick up his sleeve. So it's a minute and a half, and we're going to see what's going to happen. Overtime come, I'm going back in the game. I ain't losing. Not tonight.
Well, you heard it here from Jujo. The black team is not losing, and Coach Beamer's got something up his sleeve.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I ain't losing tonight. That's tremendous. Roman, I'll tell you, and you know that for these players, there is some bragging rights that is up for grabs. And sometimes even, you know, perhaps a better dinner. Sometimes the winners get the steaks, the losers get the hot dogs.
Well, that's what I thought was going to be the case here. I don't know if they have that on the line, but everybody lives together. All football teammates, they're all together all the time. So these are things that we get to talk about off the field, because when the season starts, when we all win, we all win, we all lose, we all lose. But today, that is not the same. It's all about which team, the Garnet or the black team, wins, not the other. So I'm really looking forward to see how this thing finishes. And I truly don't know what's up with the overtime rules, but we're going to have a punt here, and we're going to have some action.
So on 4th and 4, they're going to punt it away. And we'll see if the Garnet, who have been red hot here in the second half, can put together another drive with the true freshman quarterback, Lenoris Sellers. Led a 97-yard drive just a little while ago, breaking a 17-10 game, and then the pick six that was thrown by Braden Davis to Colin Bryant tied this game up at 17. So let's see what Dal Loggins has up his sleeve. Okay, Roman, go to the other side of the ball, put on the offensive coordinator hat. You're going to let your guy Sellers just chuck it all over the lot here?
Oh, we're throwing deep the first 3 plays, maybe a play action. I would definitely think a second level dig route or in cut is coming. That has been successful all night.
You going 4 verticals? First play?
I'm going 4 verticals. I'm even going to have a little slow play action by the running back out of the shotgun and maybe get a linebacker to get a little greedy, and then I'm going right behind his head. So that's what I'm doing. We're going to see, though. And Sellers is going to run it, too. You got to be able to contain this kid in the pocket. He's explosive now.
So the Garnet gets the football at the 20 as Sellers steps up, wants to run, trying to get outside, and he gets shoved out at about the 23. Gain of 4. Bam Martin Scott made the tackle with the clock down to 1:19. Each side says timeouts remaining. I believe the black has 2 and the Garnet has all 3. But again, in the first half, there were 4th and 5th timeouts added, so who knows? Here's a quick throw and a completion. That goes hit to Connor Cox as they hurry it up. Gain of 5. Cox, the tight end. 3rd down and 1. Sellers got the first down over the middle. Nice throw as he connects once again with DJ Black. Gain of 11. 58 seconds, clock ticking. Should have stopped the clock as they moved the chains. Come on, Roman. Again, Sellers trying to get to the outside, 7 more yards as he runs out of bounds. Near midfield, maybe he gets him into field goal range here. You wanted the pressure on the kickers, you might get it.
This is what I'm talking about. This is why you come to spring football. Not only that, but the most interesting thing that I've seen in this 2-minute is that the center, Nick, the most interesting man on the field, I don't want to mess up his last name. Gargiulo. He's the one getting the offense going and on the line, not the quarterback. He's the one running the 2-minute. And that's so good with a young freshman quarterback that just got on campus. That's so nice and smart. He's telling him to spike it. He's telling him, get him on the line. He's getting all the guys set up and ready to go so you don't lose time. Very smart by the veteran.
Sellers sacked there by Felix Hickson and Donovan Westmoreland. 3rd down and 5 at the 45. Here's Sellers looking, firing, and it's incomplete. DJ Black, the intended receiver, So you've got a 4th down and 5 coming up at the 45-yard line. 19 seconds left. And here's what's interesting, too. You may give them the ball at the 45-yard line.
Coach, do we have overtime rules?
We're trying to figure it out right now.
I'm glad we have no plan in South Carolina. Let's go. Let's go. This is awesome.
What do you think? Should we do a 2-minute play shootout?
I think we should just have a kickoff. Have the kickers kick off. Competition by the kickers. Let them settle it. It'd be amazing if that happens. That means I just affected this program, just to let you guys know.
Eddie Lewis fielding the punt back at the 20-yard line with 13 seconds left. Are we really headed for overtime in a spring game? That's nuts.
Well, Chris, you heard it here first. We don't have a plan. That is the plan. we are flying by the seat of our pants, and it's exciting. All right, at least it's not too hot. It's cooled off. Nobody's cramping. We're trying to stay as healthy as we can, and I hope we get a kickoff tonight. I love it. And not in the normal way, but a kicking competition.
DJ Twitty in the backfield with Colton Gauthier. He'll take one shot at it. Out to the right. Is it complete? They're going to say yes. On the far sideline. A catch made by Joseph Morris. Got out of bounds with 7 seconds left. Gain of 12. All right, can Gauthier get him somewhere up the field here in 7 seconds? Well, he's going to run around, and DeAndre Martin applying the pressure as he throws it away. We've got a penalty flag and a hold coming. We've got everything in this game, Roman Harper. On the final play of regulation, we've got a holding call.
Holding, offense, number 65. That penalty is declined. We're going to overtime.
Can you announce we're doing a 2-point shootout?
Right, here we go.
All right, sudden death.
Here's the explanation.
We will now complete a sudden death at the 3-yard line, 2-point shootout.
I like it.
I was overruled, guys, by Shane Beamer. Just want to let you know that.
Well, so we got an interesting little scenario here. A 2-point play shootout. Now, Roman, you and I both know coaches don't love to tip their hands on a lot of plays when it comes to spring football. I don't know if we're going to see the Statue of Liberty play here or anything like that coming up, or even the Philly special.
You know, and the thing is, guys, it's only like 3 or 4 2-point plays. Nobody has. It's not like you have a hat or a bag full of these plays. You got 3 yards and under, this is what you're going to do. Maybe some of your 3rd down, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 plays. We are paper, rock, scissoring right now to sit the sides. My man Clint right now is down 1. That just tied it up. And he just won. Oh, no, it's 1-1.
They're doing best of 3, paper, rock, scissors. What are we doing?
Garnett won. Just know that. My boy Clint. We just won. And he has deferred.
This is nuts. 2 out of 3, paper, rock, scissors, to determine who's going to get the first crack.
Rock was the winner.
Overtime of a spring game, Roman.
Yes.
Wow.
Rock was the winner. The Team Black, they didn't think they would go back to Rock. The head trainer, Clint, stuck with Rock.
The strategy.
He just stuck with it. He was consistent, and he just never moved off of it.
I'll tell you what, guts. That's what it showed. That paper could have come up at any moment. You know that.
It could have. But he didn't. He stared him right in the face and went right back to Rock.
And by the way, I've never bought the fact that paper covers rock. That's a whole nother thing. Rock would smash paper.
Of course, it teared right through it.
Tanner Bailey at quarterback here for the Black. Back in the end zone, too high. So now the Garnet gets their chance. Eric Rice, the intended receiver. So if I have this right, if the Garnet scores here, they win. That should be the game. But you know we're going 30 rounds, right?
We're giving the people free football. That is what we're giving them.
And a lot of it.
All right, so this is interesting. They go on the right hash with a right-handed quarterback. So that kind of takes away sprint out already, because most offenses, you go to the left hash knowing you have a right-handed quarterback, they want to use the sprint out.
And it's Lenora Sellers, who's a tremendous runner here.
Yes, correct.
So let's see what the Garnet goes with here. They'll split out 2 wide left. Sellers with time. Now flushed. Corner, was it caught? Incomplete. In and out of the hands of the tight end Connor Cox, true freshman from the Bowles School in Jacksonville, Florida. He bought himself some time, and Cox was open. That's in his chest. You got to catch that ball. I think you got to catch that ball, Roman Harper.
I feel like, you know, as much as I want Garnet to win, that was a tough one, and I feel like we're just begging now. It's okay. It's all right. It's getting late. It's getting late.
So now the Garnet will go again, and the Black will go second.
Chris, I'm worried here because most offenses do not have a lot of these plays in situations, so it will be some repeats, I'm sure.
Well, it's also good red zone work, right?
Yes, it is. There it is.
The quarterback draw for Sellers. Can he get home?
Short.
An official comes in and says he's short.
And there's no replay.
Nope. Did reach that arm out. Boy, that looked close. Let's see a replay ourselves. Did he get there? Nope. Nope. Knee was down. So now the Black will get their opportunity. Sellers frustrated. Can't believe it. Devastation. All right, Roman Harper, what are you calling here for Tanner Bailey? Ball on the left hash.
Ball on the left hash. I'll tell you, as soon as the formation breaks, whether it's sprint out, it looks like it could be sprint out already. Just going by the alignment of the wide receivers to his right. Maybe the tight end may go in motion. Nope, we're just going to run it straight up the gut.
And the simple play works. TJ Twitty wins it for the Black. Straight up the gut. A 19-17 win for the Black in overtime. And Frank Beamer can't believe it. They showed the father of the head coach Shane Beamer moments ago as the Black gets to celebrate an unexpected twist after the Garnet came all the way back from a 17-0 deficit to tie the game. But the Black, they regroup. They put it all behind them, Roman, and they're able to punch it in.
It was beautiful. I'm here with Coach Beamer right now. Coach, I've seen a lot of spring ball. I've been around a lot of football. This is my first overtime. How did you come up with the concept, and how proud are you of this team just to continue to fight and having fun with this situation as well?
I love it. They're an awesome group to coach. So much fun. We decided literally right before overtime, I asked Clayton Dow, our coordinators in Limbo, let's just do a two-point play shootout. We got a bunch of young guys in there that may not know what to do from the 25-yard line. And then I love the competitive spirit because Spencer and Juju and DeCarrion and Juice, Nick Eamon-Wari, they're all mad at me because they wanted, the first team offense and defense wanted to go back in. After they haven't played the whole second half, they were mad at me because I wouldn't let them go in. So I love that about them. You know, they're invested and they're awesome to coach.
Coach, man, appreciate you showcasing us tonight, man, and thank you for having us. Appreciate it, man.
Y'all are awesome.
Thank
Appreciate it. Go Cox.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Well, Shane Beamer got his money's worth tonight out of his spring game, that's for sure, and getting a chance to see all of his players perform in different situations. And how about that? The winners get the spring game championship hats. That's impressive, as if they just won the bowl game. That's awesome to see. Well, here in South Carolina, they put on a show. The Garnet fell behind, but they came all the way back to tie it at 17 and force overtime, but the Black comes out on top. For Roman Harper and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Chris Carlin. Thanks so much for watching. Good night from Columbia, South Carolina.